All right, so now welcome to our Bio 110 Cell Biology Basics course for 20 fall, or if this is a future semester, for that semester. As you can tell, it looks very similar to the microbiology videos that I was using previously, or the microbiology class that I was using for the previous videos. But here, welcome to our Bio 110 class. We have the same links here. You should begin by watching these Introduction to Canvas videos, which is what you're watching now. And then navigating to the general course materials. I do have the parentheses week 1 on there, but that's not applicable to our course. And you'll see that when you click on it. So, and then recognizing or suggesting clicking around the Canvas site and familiarizing yourself with the different areas. And then if you have any questions, to post to the general questions discussion thread. And I've already gone over a lot of this, so I'm going to go specifically to our modules here so that we can see what is specific to our Bio 110 class that I have yet to go over. So you can see here that this all looks very similar to what we've already gone over, meaning that there's the course syllabus, and you can see in here that you have your syllabus, the Bio 110 class, and you can look at the previews, the .doc and the .pdf. Here's your link to your playlist for those videos, general discussion thread, and then Introduction to Canvas videos, which is where you're watching this. And then a lot of these things that I have already gone over. One thing that's different from the previous videos is that I also have accessing the optional text here. So again, recall that we do not have a text for this course, but I do provide a link to that OpenStax optional text for if you would like to use an actual text. So there is that. So one thing that does look different here is that in our Bio 110 course, down at the bottom we have your first quiz, which is the syllabus quiz, and I spoke about this in the syllabus videos. Recall that this is a quiz that has to be submitted before you move on to the basic chemistry unit. You can see that this is locked. There's a lock here, and that's because I don't currently have access to this module because I've not completed the syllabus quiz. So make sure that you do complete the syllabus quiz, and then once you have done that, you can open up the first module. Okay, so I decided to go in and unlock this so that I can actually click on the links here. So I've removed that for myself currently, but that will be to where you can only access this once you've completed the syllabus quiz. All right, so back to our basic chemistry unit. I have our lectures first in each of the modules, then I have the different assignments that you need to complete, and I put them in order, and then any additional or helpful materials at the bottom of the unit. So first, our lectures. You can see here that I put all of the lectures for all of the sections in the same page. So for the first week, you need to complete parts 1 and parts 2. So here is where you can click on this to make this go out to YouTube, or you can click on it right here and it'll play in a little window here. So either way works. And so for the first week, by September 27th, you'll need to make sure that you've watched part 1 and part 2 and you've taken notes on part 1 and part 2. So it is important when you're taking notes that you have headers. So you need to put that this is part 1 and then you have your notes for part 1, that this is part 2 and you have your notes for part 2. So I can ensure that you do have all of the necessary information, that you have different terms that are represented here, and all of the main points. Now you do not have to write down notes word for word what I have written. It's whatever works best for you. However, if you do write down word for word on this, it won't count as plagiarism. I'm okay with you writing down terms and definitions word for word and doing drawings and things like that that I've drawn. I think at this point it's more important that you write it down in a way that's best for you, and it's not about plagiarism at this point. Now, when we talk about the homework assignment, when we talk about study skills assignments or quizzes or exams, anything that's copied directly will be considered plagiarism. So please do keep that in mind. All right, so we have our parts 1 through 4, basic chemistry lectures for parts 1 through 4 here. But recall, you can see the due dates here. Our assignments, basic chemistry lecture notes for parts 1 and 2 are due by September 27th. Also, the basic chemistry part 1 quiz, so this is the quiz that covers part 1, is due, and the quiz that covers part 2 is due on this first week. So the first week, you're just going to focus on parts 1 and 2 of basic chemistry, submit the notes for those, and take the quizzes. Then the second part of the module is parts 3 and 4. So you'll want to complete notes for parts 3 and 4, Also the quiz for part 3 and the quiz for part 4. Those are both due on the second week of this unit. Now, the homework assignment and the study skills assignment, both of these are due during the second week, so you have the entire unit period of time to work on them, but you can always start them ahead of time. And I do recommend that you do that, so you don't end up seeing here that you have all of these assignments due plus the exam on October 4th, for example. What really you do have is these 3 items are due the first week, and then you should start the homework assignment, and you, at least for this one particularly, you have to start the study skills assignment at the beginning of the week, of the first week. And then just make sure that it's submitted by the end of the unit due date, which is October 4th for this. Same thing with the chemistry homework assignment. You can start it during this first week, and you have access to all of the lectures and all of these assignments, and you can complete all of this by September 27th if you really wanted to, including the homework assignments and not the study skills, because that takes at least a week to do. But you can go at your own pace. However, these due dates, these things need to be due by these due dates, okay? So then do note that, you have different due dates within the specific modules, within the specific units. Once you have completed, you can see these over here. Once you've completed these will be filled in, and once all of them are complete, the study guide will be unlocked for you. If you do not complete any of these assignments throughout either of the weeks, then you will not have access to the study guide. So the study guide is only for those that have gone through and completed all of the assignments. So that is an incentive to make sure that you complete the assignments. Once you've completed this entire unit, not only will the study guide unlock, but then the exam will unlock as well. And please note that the exam is due on the same date as the second half of the unit is due. Okay, so please do use your time wisely. Make sure that you're on top of things. Work on the part 3 and 4 at the beginning of the week so that you can submit those assignments and you'll still have time to complete the exam. Okay. So this will be unlocked once you've finished your basic chemistry unit. You'll have access to the exam. Remember that requires the lockdown browser. So then once you have completed this exam, then you will have unlocked the organic chemistry unit. And you can see that it is organized in the same way. We have our lectures for that. In our organic chemistry unit, we actually have it split out into 3 weeks. So we have our organic chemistry lectures, parts 1 through 3, which is the same as our general chemistry one, where we have the different videos for the different parts. And then you can see here that part 1 is due by October 11th, which is the notes and the quiz. Part 2, notes and quiz due on 18th. Part 3, notes and quiz due by October 25th. But then again, this entire unit's material is covered in the homework assignment, which you can start at the very beginning of October 11th here. And then that must be completed by the end of the unit, and the Study Skills 2 assignment must be completed by the end of the unit. That will then unlock your study guide and will unlock your exam. Okay, same thing here, due by October 25th, which is the last week of the unit, 100 points, and it will only unlock once you have completed all of the assignments and submitted them. So do be sure that you are scheduling yourself throughout the weeks to make sure that you're completing things on time, as well as completing them as soon as possible so that you can have access, particularly on the last week of each unit, to have time for that exam. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see the same setup here. We have the lectures. In this one, we have the 4 different parts. We do parts 1 and 2, then parts 3 and 4, then homework assignment. There's a homework assignment part 1 and part 2 in this one, and then the study skills, your guide, and the exam. And so then we do that for each of the units. Genetics is our final unit, set up in the same way. And then we have our body systems partial unit. So again, this is different, and I note that it's due by Friday, December 18th. That is the same time that our final exam is due. It's a partial unit, which means it's set up differently. In this page here, I say read this because that describes what is required for this unit. I don't want to bog you down with that right now because the entire rest of the semester is all very structured similarly. But then here we have this body systems partial unit. And then the final exam. Again, recall that this last week, the body systems partial unit and the final exam are both due on a Friday, and the rest of the semester, all of these are due on Sundays. Okay, so that covers our Canvas course. If you have any questions, please do contact me. Oh, if I haven't mentioned this in a previous lecture, when you click to take the syllabus quiz, let's see if it works for me here. When I click to take the syllabus quiz, you can see here that it has to be submitted ahead of time. It tells you when it's due, the points, the questions. All this information requires the Lockdown browser. These are instructions regarding Lockdown browser, which I go over and have gone over in the syllabus video. Then when you click on take the quiz, this is how you're going to set up your Lockdown browser. There isn't some separate link somewhere to be able to access that. What you need to do is go in to start taking the quiz, and then it will prompt you to download the Respondus Lockdown browser. Once you do that, it'll download a file that you'll need to open and run so that it'll work on your computer. And then once you have run that program that has been downloaded, you can access the Lockdown browser. What that means, however, is that then you can shut down this browser that you're using and shut down everything else on your computer, and then only open the Lockdown browser. When you open the Lockdown browser, it's a totally separate browser than what you're using, and then what you'll do is you'll navigate to our Canvas course just like this, and then you'll click on this, and then you'll be able to take the quiz. Okay, so it's a browser like whatever you're using, like Chrome or Mozilla or Explorer or whatever browser you're using. The Respondus Lockdown browser is just like that, except that it doesn't allow you to have anything else open at the time. And so you'll go into that like you would go into this browser, whatever you're using, and then access the quiz through that. And that's how you'll access every exam as well. All right, so again, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Post them on the general questions discussion board so that other people can answer them. Or you can email them to me, or you can text them to me. All right, so I look forward to a great semester.